Yo, what up, fellas, fam, ladies and gents, mom? Let's see, what am I titling this? Balance, Insight, Socialism, Capitalism, and Ray Dalio. So, shout out to Shane. I had a really long conversation with a friend and now patron. I have two patrons over on Patreon. And he gave me, it was a really good conversation because he let me know what he liked the most about the content that either I'm producing now or what I've produced in the past. And what he said is he likes my kind of comments and insights into whatever it is, global events, news, that sort of thing. And he kind of convinced me to take my content here a little more seriously. It's not that I haven't, it's not that I've been taking it not serious, but, I've just been kind of throwing things out. But more serious in that, be a little bit more prepared with the video, and get to the point faster sometimes. And yeah, and it was funny. I don't know if you guys saw the video a couple videos back where I was talking about Milltown Kid and Casey Abbott Payne and that whole thing. And this is the balance portion of the video, just in that, as you may or may not know, like I'm actually pretty good at creating viral content, or content for views or whatever. And every time, it's like I've been doing the opposite of that for a long time, because anytime I started to think about it, I'd get Milltown Kid, I mean, it's me, but Milltown Kid creeping back and then wanting to do like easy views. It's not that hard to get views. Anyhow, so I've been kind of doing anti-view stuff for a while, but I'm feeling like I can do things, not that I'm doing them for views, but cover events, review books. There's a good book to review. I'm just grabbing a book randomly. Taoism. A complete introduction. I guess that makes sense for the balance. Look at that. That worked out. I was going to put the little yin yang in the title. I was already planning on that. So yeah, that feels good. And now if we roll to the socialism, capitalism, and Ray Dalio. We already put him. He's the one. That's Ray Dalio. If you don't know Ray Dalio, you should get to know Ray Dalio. He's a high level capitalist, but he's also a critic of capitalism. And he mentions it. The link to this video will be below. If you jump to 3640, you can hear a little excerpt of him. I think here, like I wrote. Basically, what he said is any system, capitalism or anything, kind of works for the people who control the system. And that's, some of the things I've been pointing out and thinking about. This is where, corporations, capitalists, and then politicians get into cahoots and make the system work well for them. They're capitalists, but then people get left behind. And what Ray Dalio is arguing, and then there's a post, I'll put a link to his post below as well, where he argues some of the failing points. What he's saying is capitalism in the US is not working for the majority of people, and that's a problem. So he looks at stats of, if you look at the top 40% and then the bottom 60%, the bottom 60% are not having a good time inside of the capitalist system as it is currently functioning in the US, right? So it was nice seeing his video running into that post, because it was addressing all these feels I was having about capitalism. Because again, he's definitely not anti-capitalist, and I'm not anti-capitalist, but I am anti-people at the bottom suffering unnecessarily, right? Like the US is all kinds of wealth. So I will end on this point. And I grabbed this. It's just right at the top of his post on LinkedIn. And it is 2 points. I guess I'll do this point first. Is so basically what he says, if we look at socialism and capitalism, and they shouldn't be looked at as competing system, because what he says is socialists are good at splitting up the pie, capitalists are good at growing the pie, and ideally the two work together. So, I mean, like, in my opinion, you want kind of a socialist government that isn't with their hand isn't in too many pieces of the pie, I guess. Anyhow, you look at socialism, they're good at splitting up the pie. Capitalism is good at growing the pie, and they got to figure out a way to work together. And what he says is, historically, either that gets figured out or a revolution happens, right? But he's, the problem with revolution is the pie gets smaller for everyone. But I mean, that's what happens if the pie isn't getting split up well. And that's kind of what I was looking at. And then I just noted this down, not totally related to all the points I was making, but he talks about how every region has its internal politics, like what I was just describing. The U.S. internally needs to figure out how to better distribute the pie. The U.S. is very good at growing the pie, obviously. That's what Americans and capitalists and Republicans are like, and that's good. Like, nothing wrong with that. But then splitting up the pie needs to get figured out for the people like. So that's internal politics. But then you have external politics that's like country to country level. And that's where like things are interesting. Something he was pointing out in the video is in times of crisis, like this global pandemic is actually a good opportunity for, countries to take advantage of other countries. And, that isn't good. I mean, I guess, like he mentions just several times, like it's moments like these when you just, people ideally work together and they're not, taking advantage of each other. But that's kind of what, capitalism capitalism at its extreme. That's what I'll say. Capitalism at its extreme ends up kind of taking advantage of people. And that's, yeah, there we go. Nice. It's a short video for me, under 10 minutes. Not too bad. And I'll leave. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Like, I'm really looking forward to having more conversations with more of you, like on the, where I got my laptop out, my headset on, and just one-on-one. I look forward to that. So if you're wanting to have that kind of conversation, just let me know. That is all. Love you guys. Peace. Stay safe. Stay balanced. And I will see you tomorrow with a weekly reflection.